Okay, now let's talk about strict equality operators. First, a simple example. 5 is strictly equal to 5, which returns true because 5 is strictly equal to 5, right? And of course, it works on strings as well. So the string orange is strictly equal to the string orange, and because they're identical, they're also true. And false is strictly equal to false, and because they are indeed equal, it returns true. However, this is where things get interesting. The number 5 is not strictly equal to the string 5. So if you remember from the equality operator, in the equality operator, this would have returned true because the equality operator only cares about the value and not the data type. So the number 5 would be equal to the string 5 and it would return true. However, with strict equality operator, not only the values will have to be the same, but the data type will have to be the same as well. So a number can never be equal to a string, even if they contain the same value. That's why it's strict equality, because it doesn't only take into consideration the value, but also the data type of the values. So the number 5 is not strictly equal to the string 5, and that returns false, because number 5 and string 5, although they have the same value, 5, they're different data types. That's why they're not equal. And of course, JavaScript is extremely precise with numbers. So 23 is strictly equal to 23.001 will return false because they're not exactly the same. In order for two numbers to be equal, they must be exactly the same. And in order for two strings to be the same, they must be exactly the same as well. So the string apple with lowercase letters is equal to string apple with uppercase letters returns false because these two strings are not the same. They need to be exactly the same for the equality operation to return true. And of course, because the strict equality operator doesn't only take care of the value but also the data type, things such as 0 is strictly equal to false returns false because 0 and false are different data types and they can never be the same. 0 is a number, false is a boolean, and that's why they're not the same. Although the same comparison with the equality operator would have returned true. However, with strict equality, it returns false. Similarly, string 1 is strictly equal to true also returns false because they're different data type. One is a string and another is a boolean. However, with the equality operator, it would have returned true. And because null and undefined is different values in JavaScript, they're not strictly equal. So null is strictly equal to undefined or the other way around returns false. And again, two separate objects can never be the same in JavaScript. So two objects, array with value 1, 2, and another array with value 1, 2, is not equal to one another. It returns false. And the same thing happens with string objects. If you have two string objects with the same value, even then they're not the same. So var A contains a new string with value ABC, and var B contains another string object with value ABC. But A is not strictly equal to B. A is strictly equal to B returns false. Now let's talk about inequality. So you can think of the inequality operator as completely the opposite to the equality operator. So where the equality operator would return true, the inequality operator would return false. And where the equality operator would return false, the inequality operator would return true. So it works exactly the opposite as the equality operator. So in short, the equality operator returns true if the values are not equal, and returns false if the values are indeed equal. So 4 is not equal to 5 returns true, because 4 is not equal to 5, right? 4 is a different number, 5 is a different number. So 4 is not equal to 5 is true. And similarly, the string orange is not equal to string apple. It's also true because they're different strings. And again, objects, even if they have the same values, are never the same. So here we have two identical arrays, but because they're different objects, the first array is not equal to the second array, and it returns true. Now, if the values are indeed equal, then the inequality operator actually returns false. So for example, 3 is not equal to 3 is false because 3 is indeed equal to 3. That's why 3 is not equal to 3 returns false. And just like the equality operator, the inequality operator only takes into consideration the value and not the data type. So the string 3 is not equal to the number 3 is false because they are the same. They are regarded as the same. Although the one is a string and another is a number, because they have the same value, they're treated as equal. And the string 3 is not equal to the number 3 returns false because the inequality operator considers them the same. So similarly, a string apple is not equal to another string apple is false as well because apple is equal to apple. So the apple is not equal to apple returns false. Now 0 is not equal to false, which is also false because with equality operations 0 is equal to false, right? Because both have the value 0. The number 0 has a value 0 and the boolean false is regarded as 0 as well. So 0 and false are equal, and 0 is not equal to false is false because they are indeed equal. And similarly, string 1 is not equal to true is also false because these two values are considered equal with the inequality operator. And similarly, null is not equal to undefined is also false because with the inequality operator, just like the equality operator, null and undefined is equal. That's why they're not equal returns false. Similarly, booleans such as false is not equal to false is also not true. They return false because false is equal to false, and that's why false is not equal to false returns false. Now the counterpart of the inequality operator and the opposite of the strict equality operator is the strict inequality operator. So just like the inequality operator, the strict inequality operator will return true if the two values are not equal, but it also takes into consideration the data type along with the values themselves. So for example, 3 is not strictly equal to 5 returns true because these two are not the same. However, the number 3 is not strictly equal to the string 3 returns true because the strict inequality operator regards these two values as different. Although the value is the same, they're different data types. That's why number 3 is strictly not equal to the string 3 returns true because these are not actually equal. Similarly, a string pineapple is not strictly equal to the string banana returns true because these two are different strings. They're not equal. And of course, two different objects can never be equal. So two arrays with values 1 and 2 is not equal to one another and it returns true. However, if we have the same value, for example 60 is not strictly equal to 60, it returns false because 60 is indeed equal to 60. That's why 60 is not equal to 60 is not true, it's false. And similarly, if the two strings are exactly the same, so banana is not strictly equal to banana returns false because they are indeed equal. And similarly, 0 is not equal to false actually returns true because they are different data types, that's why they're not equal. They're not regarded as the same. So 0 is not equal to false actually returns true. And similarly, the string 1 is not equal to true also returns true. Because although their value is the same, both have value 1, but they're not the same data type. That's why they're not equal. And null is not strictly equal to undefined, which returns true, because these two values are different with strict inequality. And false is not equal to false returns false, because false is equal to false. That's why false is strictly not equal to false is not true, it returns false.